Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samuel Agaga. I will be presenting alongside my colleagues, Ashman and Fahim. Today, we'll be presenting our final project presentation, which is on application of trust model with emphasis on AI-enabled virtual assistant. This work is based on the paper by Peter Lewis and Stephen March. And we will be dissecting this publication and applying their model, for some of the virtual assistant products. Introduction: artificial intelligence has changed all facets of human endeavor, including how we develop and innovate new ideas to facilitate new technologies and solutions to solve real-world problem. And considering that, what I have just said, it has become important to start looking at how we can, have some form of framework for artificial intelligence. Something like, that was how ISO standard came into being. And of course, we also have NIST framework and other kind of type of frameworks around the industry. So in the interest of time, we will not be able to go into all the details, but I'm just going to give you maybe just a half-inch depth of this. So let's look at why this is even important in the first place. Why do we even think about, model, framework, standard, regulation? Why are those important? Of course, they're important because we want security. We want AI system to be secure. We want safety. We want to make sure that there are not going to be some health hazard. Privacy regulation is a big deal. Criminality, we want to curb criminality as well, because this tool, once it gets into the hands of some threat actors, it can actually be an indispensable tool for orchestrating criminality. Environmental protection is also of paramount relevance. And of course, there are a lot of other things that we can talk about. Of course, here we have some cybersecurity framework. We have COVID NIST framework, and this is all this framework that we see today started based on the various gaps that were actually found in various products. Actually, it's very important to start thinking about framework before even developing the solution, so that you address the issues that were itemized previously before actually putting out the solution out there to be used by the populace. So if we zoom into the ISO 27001, for example, you have the administrative controls, right, which is the policy, standard, guideline, procedures, and things like that. Of course, those what kind of controls are human resource security, access controls. This can be configured via physical means, and of course, in your firewall, you have WAF, you have next gen firewall and what have you. Physical security is perimeter security. You have to have defense in depth, right? That is also important, and you can start from physical security. Security operations, the notion around security operations center, where you can have a single pane of glass visibility across your organization and be able to quickly depict the threat landscape and know what is going on. We also have asset management and what have you. Cryptography, is of course a technical control to ensure that we will not have loss of confidentiality in the solution that we're building. Of course, there can be security without compliance. Business continuity management is also one of the essential aspects of that. So this is just talking about why the various domains and why this is important. Now, let's talk about the paper by Lewis and March. Now, when we analyze this paper, we realize that they try to bringing some new component into the arena of AI system in terms of how they want to model AI. They talk about reliability, safety, security, risk profile, and all this. I think I actually added some items which I think should be added to the paper. Things like confidentiality and integrity and all this type of stuff that need to be added. I think we have to actually start leveraging this paper to start thinking about what the future is going to look like when it comes to creating a model framework around AI system. And for example, how reliable is the AI system? How secure, how safe is the AI system? What are the risks associated with the AI system? Can we audit the AI system? If something happens, right, can we go back in time and say, this was what happened in the AI system? And that led to this. What are the ethical concerns for AI system, right? So how competent is the AI system, right? If I process data with the AI system, can the AI system, does it have controls for confidentiality? Does it have controls for integrity? Now, availability, will the AI system always be available, when I need it? So these are some concerns that things that this model, this paper tried to introduce, which is very, very good in my own view. Now we zoom into the Apple Home Kit. We try to glean some information here and there to see, what model was even leveraged to come up with this product that has actually revolutionized the way we do things around our home, right? So of course, most technologies will always come with vulnerability, and that's one of the biggest risks that consumers of these technologies we have to face for a very long time. And I think at this point it has become imperative to start looking at, robust system for measuring AI. And in the future, we want to see how we can actually have numerical values for things like trust level, be able to, start looking at how to measure trust in AI system, military AI system, commercial AI system, airspace AI system. How do we codify a nomenclature for measuring AI system, risk in AI system? How do we know what amount of risk is reasonable for this type of AI system? So, and I think this is a very interesting thing. So, in our future work, we'll tend to look into having numerical analysis of some of these things that has been talked about in this paper that we have reviewed. So, at this point, I will hand over to my colleague to take over from here. And if you have any question, please feel free to put it in the chat, or anytime I'm on LinkedIn. We can always chat on this stuff. These have very, very thought stimulating ideas that we can continue to involve on. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I am Fahim, and I'll be continuing from here. In present time, the most popular use of AI undoubtedly goes to the use of virtual home assistants. These are the most popular and well-known virtual assistants from the big 5 tech competitors. These assistants' sole purpose is to make our lives easier. They include a wide range of features. Simple features like making a call, setting up a meeting, saving a date in the calendar, making reservations at the restaurant, and many more. But with the tech being developed so much in the past couple of years, the virtual assistants become capable of doing more. They are now capable of monitoring every corner of your house with full surveillance capabilities. The systems can now detect suspicious activities and any kind of breach in the house security system. The devices are now also capable of starting your car and navigating the best route for you on demand. They can also be your personal trainer for you to be fit and to get emergency help on voice command and get fast aid help at any time. And the list goes on. For today's presentation, we'll evaluate the big three: Amazon's Echo, which comes with Alexa, Apple's Siri with its HomeKit, and finally Google Assistant. Before the evaluation, let's take a look at the present scenario of the trust between these systems and the users. After release, each of the systems have faced controversies and many accusations over the years. Concerns of Alexa. German Speak was the first commercially available in-car Alexa system, but way before it was available, Luke Millenter successfully hacked the system and connected to a Tesla Model S, which started controversy. Security researchers of Chetmarks were able to turn an eco device into a spyware by creating their malicious software. The most notorious of the controversies was the unknown audio recordings done by Alexa. There have been reports that many recordings were sent to a couple of a man from another country. In 2018, a family conversation was recorded and sent to the people that were on the family's contact list. There are many claims that Alexa records audio without informing its users, and Amazon uses this information for marketing purposes. Though Amazon has always refused these allegations against them, in July 2021, the EU fined Amazon €746 million for allegedly violating the European Union's General Data Protection Regulations. Apple was also investigated by Ireland's Data Protection Commission to find out whether Apple followed the EU's GDPR law regarding how they acquire and process the personal information. Some users complained that despite having their location services disabled, their iPhone 11 Pro devices continued to track their location and collected their data. The company was also accused of turning over data, including phone numbers and IP addresses, to hackers who posed as law enforcement officials. Google Assistant has also been accused of recording private conversation and breaching data privacy. In 2019, a Belgian public broadcaster revealed information about third-party contractors who paid to get audio clips that were collected by Google Assistant. Many other sensitive data were collected as well. Google also officially acknowledged this. On basis of these accusations, a US federal judge proposed a class action lawsuit against Google and claimed Google has violated California privacy and federal privacy laws. From the previous discussions and the information presented against the big three virtual home assistants, it is apparent that there are trust issues between the users and the products. These companies always defended their position, saying they cannot reveal their back-end software development structure to the public, but they assure us they are respectful and careful about handling sensitive user data. But the reality is different, and many incidents suggest they have actually failed in that regard, and actually their AI-powered home assistants have been used in illegal recordings and most probably will be abused in some way or another. The users and the lawmakers are not happy about these privacy breaches. The companies are trying their best to prove that they are taking every measure to prevent this kind of situation and updating their security and privacy policies often. In the next section, we'll evaluate the system to the proposed general model. Trust General Model Evaluation. Amazon's Alexa. Competence. In the US, 70% of the smart speakers users' first choice is Amazon Echo in 2020. Amazon's Alexa dominated the market with 70% market share in 2019. Alexa started with 130 skills, however, it has increased to 100,000 in the past 8 years, which is remarkable. It was also ranked higher than the competition according to the total purchase statistics of smart speakers globally. Users are satisfied with Alexa and the ecosystem. This information portrays that Alexa is good at what it is tasked by the users, and that is the reason for its higher ranking. Predictability. Users can build their very own custom voice commands set for Alexa. If a user chooses to use the custom voice commands, the user exactly can predict and in this case actually knows what Alexa will do. Willingness and benevolence. Alexa is a product that is specifically designed to serve the customers with total satisfaction. Of course, it is willing, or more appropriately put, it's coded to be willing to help and show loyalty to its users all the time, every day. Honesty and integrity. Amazon is adamant about giving the best customer service with maximum encryption and cloud security. Yet, allegations of recording audios has tarnished the trust of the users. Proxy trust. Amazon is to be trusted with designing a good product, and 95% users trust Alexa to be a worthy home system. My colleague Samuel talked about Siri in his part of the video, and now Asma will continue from the next one. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Asma Fariha and I will be continuing from here. I'm going to discuss about the Trust General Model Evaluation on Google Home Assistant. Competence. So Google Home Assistant is very renowned for natural conversation. In a competitive study among the most famous smart home assistants, Google Home Assistant performed best in queries such as finding restaurants, transportation times, and so on. But it could not perform well in performing tasks such as online shopping, sports updates, and meeting schedule. In terms of predictability, Google Home Assistant has speech recognition issue. So it oftentimes gets confused among similar words and activate the wrong skill. Willingness and benevolence is a bit tricky to define for smart home assistants. Google Home Assistant is intended for natural conversation and it is very good at that. But it can perform incorrect tasks such as sending email and setting up alarms. We can say it's not a lack of willingness, rather the fault in AI models being used here. Honesty and integrity. Google services are ensured with safety and security, but some malicious third-party apps can get passed through the authorization process, and we can say the extension is being used here is not performing very well. Finally, the proxy trust. Google has the advantage of proxy trust as an organization because people are very used to Google services. They are using Google for browsing information and sending emails with confidential data. So overall, smart home assistants are gaining good user satisfaction by making people's life easy through the automation. But still, there are some concerns in this domain. That is, smart home assistants are always listening to perform the task. Also, people have some concern about the data access level through the organization. The future expectations from smart home assistants are incognito mode, so that user may choose to store or not to store the history of the data. Then improved multi-user management. And finally, the improved parental control. In conclusion, we can say that the AI models being used in smart home assistants are not that much matured yet, so there is a lot of improvement scopes. The organizations behind these smart home assistants have the advantages of proxy trust. So if they consider the competency, predictability improvements seriously, they may gain a huge success. Thank you, everyone.